Yo guys, welcome to the Zelda fiction. Today we are gonna see, what if Naruto got banished and raised the Maelstrom Empire? Part 1. Huge shout out to Phoenix Lord 42 for this story. If you end up liking this video, please consider subscribe, so without further ado, let's get into the video. Land of Fire, location, Konoha, weather. Thunderstorm and rain. 10 years since that mission, 10 years of a failure that caused so much, 10 years of declining Konoha's once great reputation of being the best village, 10 years of the prosperity of a village, because of one foolish choice of banishing a great ninja of the village. Following another running from the village. So the village that is Konoha had seen much better days or the sun, as it's been raining non-stop for the past decade. But not all are bad, there were some good things, like the permanent disbanding of the civilian council, as they chose to banish their most loyal and influential shinobi as it was the last straw, and thus, now the village of ninjas run by ninjas now. Nothing more or less. There are civilians but no civilian council. Then shinobi hear something and they see something coming their way, they see a pair of women walking, as the airship is waiting for them to return, as the clouds were too dangerous. "So what can I do for you ladies?" said the guard as the two are wearing coats for the rain, the two women are covered up, and one hands a scroll to the person for the Hokage's eyes only. They then turn away and head back to where they were coming from. The guard blinks as he looks at it and looks to his partner called the Anbu. His partner nods and then pushes a button and a Nico mask Anbu appears. "What is it?" the person asks and one hands her the scroll for the Hokage's eyes only, said the messengers. "Very well," said the Nico masked Anbu, as they're vanished in the shadows, the person at the gate looked toward where the people are walking, as one says, "I don't think they're from the land of spring, cause that thing looks way more advanced, plus the other giveaway is the symbol." Their symbol is a spiral with weapons behind it with some dragons in front of the spiral. The two keep going as his partner says, they could be from the west or something. Maybe. It's hard to say, and if that is the case, I think western women are something else. Did you see how they look? They are beautiful and busty, but one had her right arm close to her bust. One then makes curves with his hands. "I'm not blind, I wonder if they are taken," said the other. As they are talking, the two women who are under the ship are dry from the rain. One of them said, "I don't remember it raining this much when I was last here," and the other says it would be foolish as this happened when they banished someone. Well, if anything, this gives the rain village a run for their Ryu. Then they hear footsteps and turn to see a young lady charging at them. One of them shakes their head and heads into the airship, then hears "You traitorous fish." As she jumps in the air and is about to strike one of them, but she is caught mid-air by the one she is aiming for, who throws her away, and it is revealed who it is, Hinata Hyuga. And what's more, she is wearing a blindfold, covering her eyes as she says, "Oh, it's you, Hanabi, you have grown," in a casual voice. Hinata then walks onto the airship with her partner as the girl. Hanabi shouts, "Don't you dare walk away from me." They are in the airship, and the ramp closes, and Hanabi is smacking her first on it as she screams for Hinata to come out here and fight. In the airship. "You sure you should leave her out there?" As she sure does. "No, you," said the other, Hinata says her. "Not really, she's some stranger, as my sister and much of my clan are dead to me. My mother is the only family I seem to have." She was not listening to the shouts as well as banging. The airship takes off and Hanabi keeps screaming. Meanwhile, the Hokage. The Hokage gets the scroll and opens it. It is an invitation to a tournament in the west, and the Hokage says, "A tournament? At a far-off land?" The Hokage sighs, wondering who will she have joined the tournament. Meanwhile, at the land of lightning. There are more airships there, and in the more royal one sits a man on a throne with a mask on and a gauntlet on his right hand, as he is scratching the head of a massive beast, with black fur and grey mane with horns. This beast is called a Stygian's integer. "Well, Alpha, we are almost them. I wonder how my wives' guards are doing." The one called Alpha growls, "Oh, you think so?" Alpha nods and the person in the chair nods. Then the door opens. "My lord, we are approaching a battle, it seems." "A battle? Get me my elemental sword if you don't mind," said the emperor, and the person bows and grabs a black katana and hands it to him. The emperor unsheathes the blade and says, "Well, chaotic sun princess, it is time for battle." He smirks as he gets up. Alpha gets up as well. The emperor looks at the gauntlet, and in it are 6 gems. One is a ruby, which looks like fire energy inside, is the heart of the sun. Sapphire, with water energy in it, is the heart of the sea. Emerald, with wind energy in it, is the heart of the sky. Diamond, with earth energy in it, is the heart of the earth. Zircon, with a small storm in it, is heart of the storm, and the amethyst is the heart of magic. The metal is black. "Alpha, open the hatch." Alpha nods, and then goes over to a switch and pulls down. The hatch opens, then both jump out of it. The emperor lands on the ground, and the ground breaks. They turn and see the battle, then the emperor sends a wave of flames heading at the two wearing the clocks of the Akatsuki. As everyone is staring at him as the airship lands and troops come out, then 3 people grab the girl that was fighting and get her back to the airship, as the others act as the barrier as a woman steps out and says, "Do I have to do the thing, sire?" It's a test run, to see if it's right or just too long, said the emperor as everyone else besides the troops notices the man is wearing a black flame mask with eye holes, but can't see the eye colors. As the woman says very well, she clears her throat and she begins the announcement introducing the master of black flames, the man who ended the long war. The great uniter is our emperor. She steps aside as the emperor steps up as he pops his neck. The emperor then sees a fireball heading his, he raises his right arm ready to smack it. When his hand meets the fireball, he knocks it away, hitting another mask coming at him from behind with a big explosion. How the hell did he do that? Shouts a man with silver hair and pink eyes. Your mom, that's how, said the emperor. He then disappears as the Jashinist is attacked by Alpha and the emperor appears before the man with the mask and grabs the back of his head and starts squeezing it. He is screaming in pain as the emperor is doing this. Emperor says, this what you get for not keeping your guard up. The masked man is then lit aflame with black flames and he screams in pain. The emperor then burns the other masks that are on the man's back as he says, you fucker. You know what you have done. It does not matter as you're dead anyway, said the emperor as the man burns even more as he thinks I can't use the substitute jutsu. As there were his last thoughts as he turned into ashes. The emperor lets go as the enemy is turning to ash as he just tosses him and he just scatters him into the air. Then he stops a rolling head with his boot as he turns his head to see Alpha chewing on the body. He says, no Alpha, that's not food. Alpha keeps chewing, then spits it out. Then the emperor hears. If I could move I would bite your knees. The emperor looks down and asks, are you related to the Black Knight? The what? Asked the head. The emperor shrugs, oh well. I think I will add you to a special collection or let our scientists study you. He grabs the head by the hair as the head says, screw you. Says the head, who can't control your body, said the emperor. The body is laying around like some clod. Then the emperor goes over and stomps, making the earth shoot up and send it flying into the sky as he says, Alpha. Alpha blasts it with red lightning until it's nothing but ashes. Which is the head, my body. You're not going to need it anyway, said the emperor. He walks into the airship with Alpha and then the airship takes off again and the emperor says to Kumo, we have someone to drop off and a message to deliver. The crew saluted, your highness. As the emperor walks inside. Then he is back in his private room and looks out the window as he hears the head cursing non-stop. He then puts it in a container and says, enough of your mouth. Time skip. They reach Kumo and the Raikage is ready to fight as the airship lands. Then the hatch opens and the medics are rolling out the woman they saved. Yujito. The medics roll over to the Raikage and say she is fine, just resting now. We found her fighting 2 Akatsuki members. Raikage, I thank you, but also who are you? Then the emperor walks out of the hatch with a scroll. They work for me, Mr. Raikage. The Raikage says okay, but the question still stands, who are you? And the emperor says, I am the emperor of the empire in the west. My name is a guarded secret until I am ready to reveal it. But I have this scroll for you. As he holds out the scroll. The Raikage looks at the emperor, the scroll, and takes it, then opens it as an invite to a tournament and there will be prizes. Time skip, an hour later. The emperor is in his airship with the guard ships heading back home and is joined by the other ships as he sits on his throne as he enjoys a cup of jasmine green tea as the maker learned from a mentor and an advisor to the emperor. Iroh, the dragon of the west. Peace and silence, said the emperor as he is not wearing his mask. His face is shadowed as he sips his tea and enjoys the peace and quiet. After a while, a crewmate walks in. Sire, we should be approaching soon. The emperor nods, good, it will be good to be home. I do miss home. Then he thinks about his beloveds, but not as much as I miss my ladies. The crew member bows and leaves as the emperor is sighing as he also misses his kids. I should have gotten them sweets, along with some toys, said the emperor as he feels the airship slowing down, which means it was about to land soon. The emperor gets up and picks up his mask, as well as he knows that some of his loves are waiting for him in the palace. Half an hour later. The emperor is walking through the halls as he reaches his throne room and his 6 personal maids are waiting for him as all of them line up and bow as they say, welcome home, master. The emperor nods, thank you for the welcome. The emperor heads to his throne as he sees toys laying around the throne. He chuckles as one of the heads on the throne has googly eyes. He then says, please remove their eyes and put them on something nice for the kids to find. One of them, right away, master. The emperor then sits on his throne as the eyes are removed and puts on a handmade doll, as well as the others are picking up the toys and putting them as the emperor says, kids, what are you doing with them? Then he hears, I could tell you a thing or two, but who am I to give advice? The emperor says, that is true, Dante, but these kids are a dragon, a young girl with the power of rewind, and a mind reader. Thank goodness for my genes as mind readers are stopped quickly. The emperor turns to a man with short silver hair as he wearing mostly red clothes with a large sword on his back. He is Dante, the son of a human woman and a powerful demon. I'm one of a couple of people you shouldn't talk to about genes, sire. The emperor chuckles and says, true, being the son of Sparta who was a good friend of my mom's. We both have gifts from our parents like your sword and mine. Now then, how did your trip go? See any new ladies to add? Asked Dante, and the emperor said, I only fought two idiots who are supposed to be the undead duo and saved someone from Kumo. So what? Did they beat you? Are you unbeatable of the West? Asked Dante, and the emperor then holds up the head of one and said, this is your proof. The head then says, you bastard. Cool, said Dante as he placed his hand on the emperor's shoulder. My faith in you has been restored. You thought for a moment that these jokers would beat me, didn't you? Dante laughs and then takes the head. I will get this to the scientists and even researchers to figure this out. The emperor says, warn them he is a Jashinist. What the fuck is Jashinist? Cause I never heard of it and I've fought demons. Said Dante. The emperor says, what mom has told me, they are a cult of beasts. They do ritual sacrifices to their god Jashin, who is said to be the god of blood. But in the ranks, he is low level. The more followers the faster he can get higher in rank. Pathetic if you ask me. That would explain why I never heard of it, said Dante as the head. You fuckers, don't you dare insult Lord Jashin. Dante says, I don't give a fuck, as me and my brother are part demon and our emperor has the blood of 4 gods flowing through his veins and 3 are primordials. So we don't give a fuck about Jashin. Dante takes him away and leaves the emperor to himself. The emperor creates a mirror and a shadowy figure appears. The person says, hello dear, how are you? And the emperor says, I am good, mom. It is good to see and hear you. I wonder how people will react when they find out you split yourself and the other part becomes Kushina, mom. Oh, how I miss that body of hers, she just had the right curves, said the shadowy, and the emperor rolled his eyes. Mom, you are chaos and you have a godly body. Do you know how many people would be drooling over you if they could see your body? Yes, I know, but her body was just right as she had the same size as me. Well, barely, she had a cup size smaller, but that's about it, said Chaos, and the emperor says, Mom, trust me, you look fine the way you are. Okay, hell, I might even want you. Oh honey, I would love to, but I can't as I'm overworked with duties and other things at the moment, said Chaos, and the emperor says, yeah, but unlike other gods and goddesses, you don't have as much paperwork as them. But if you leave then things might go bad. So I understand, Mom. Though I would like you to visit soon. I know, but I promise I will visit. For now, I gotta go, there's a trial going on and I'm going to witness the fall of a low-rank god. Said Chaos, and the emperor says, tell Jashin I said fuck you. Oh, I wish it was him. No, it's some other one, but if I do see him, I will tell him that you say hi my dear, said Chaos with a smirk as she is one of the ones passing judgment as all primordials do. The emperor smirks, then the mirror fades away as he hears, had a good talk with your mother? Asks a female voice. The emperor says, yes I have. Now, where are our daughters? Well, last I checked, they were napping, said the woman named Yor as she has an insane figure with J-cup breasts, wearing a red sweater with black pants that shows off her ass well with brown heeled boots. She also has black hair. I see, I will let them be until they wake up as they're kinda in trouble, said the emperor, and Yor asks, cause they messed with your throne and you told them not to. The emperor nods, I see. Anyway, where are Hinata and others? Asked Yor. The emperor says Hinata and Samui are out training and the others I don't know. I got home not 10 to 20 minutes ago. Yor says, oh right. The others are doing their own thing, so it is just you and I along with the maids. The emperor nods, then he smirks as he wraps his arm around her. Yor giggles, oh no, what should I do now as I am about to be taken advantage of? She blushes. As the two are about to kiss, then the emperor catches a kunai knife and they turn to see Rude Anbu as the emperor sighs as he asks, really? Couldn't you have waited? Yor is now mad cause she was denied a kiss. The emperor turns and says to Yor, have fun, as he was going to die anyway, as I can't have these getting out yet. The Rude Anbu is confused as he turns and he feels something he never thought he would feel. Fear. Why? Yor has just appeared behind him and kicks, he dodges, but the wind pressure hits making his mask get cut deep before he is dropped to the floor. He is grabbed by the neck and soon enough sees a golden needle at his face. You bastard, you interrupted my moment with my husband. Said Yor with her eyes showing pure kai, and the Root couldn't find the words as Yor days, and for that, your life is forfeit. Then people all over hear the screams of pain and tear as the person is dying by Yor's hand, and someone says, oh, interrupting a moment with Yor and the emperor for no reason will get you on Yor's bad side. The person who said that is one of the maids standing by, as 3 others are moving bodies away from Alpha who had taken care of the rest, and then they take them to be turned to ash and buried somewhere that no one will find them. After the bodies are picked up and then clean the blood off, Emperor is on his throne as he says that was entertaining. Well, we need to check on the kids, as I would not put it past the Rude Anbu to go after children. No need, my lord, said a new voice as the emperor saw a man wearing black with a bit of silver, with a very long sword. He had long silver hair. The emperor said Sephiroth as he saw the 3 girls. The 3 shout out Papa. They run up to him and he hugs them and says, girls, you're in trouble. I told you to not play in the throne room with your toys, and if you do please clean them up. All three are shocked to hear that. The emperor says this is one area your mommies and I do our jobs okay. So we can't have toys all around here. Someone could get hurt. The girls nod, then the emperor turns to Sephiroth. Thank you for keeping them safe. It's nothing, after all, someone took care of this one before he could do anything to them, said Sephiroth as he held up his head. The emperor nods. Understood. I want you to let the guards know I want increased security around the whole capital. Warn the other cities, villages, and outposts of our nation. We have unwanted invaders. I want them gone. Orders the emperor. Everyone shouts yes sire sir. As they carry out the order. The emperor says now then I'm hungry. He walks to the kitchen with his daughters and Yor and Alpha join. In the dining room. What do you girls want? The emperor asks. Anya says I want a burger. The others nod in agreement. The emperor says you heard her. Then another busty woman comes out of the kitchen with a tray of burgers and says anything for my cute little girls. All three shout you're the best mama Kiryu. Kiryu giggles and puts plates in front of everyone with the food they wanted. Kiryu Hikifune is the royal chef of the emperor and also one of his many wives. Of course after all I love making food for you three, plus you will grow up not only beautiful but big and strong, said Kiryu as she smiles as she lets her purple hair flow as she heads back in. The emperor chuckles as he does love his family as they all start to eat their meal. Time skip a couple of weeks later. The airships are coming in and the cannons turn to aim at them, then the cannons lower as the codes were sent and verified and they land, well the one from Spring lands near the palace. The daimyo of the Land of Springs, also a whole renowned actress of her time, Lady Koyuki, introduces someone as Koyuki leaves the airship and the emperor is waiting as she is a lovely woman as she says hello emperor, it's so good to see you again. She smiles. The emperor gently takes her hand and kisses her knuckle making her giggle and he says it is wonderful to see you again. Your last movie was wonderful. Koyuki blushes as she was allowed to film in this nation as she is a wonderful friend to the emperor. How are things lately sir emperor? Said Koyuki. They start to walk with the emperor's guards walking with them and Alpha things are well. People are happy and at peace. Koyuki says good to hear. I remember the last time you visited me in my home nation. I could not get out of bed thanks to you mister. And the emperor chuckles as he puts on his mask as he says not my fault that you were ill prepared. He smirks behind the mask. Koyuki blushes as it is true she was unprepared for him in bed. Oh, you. So tell me that you want this to go off without a hitch. Well be warned the Akatsuki has had someone looking for you and Orochimaru might try something stupid. Said Koyuki. I think you're a little too late on Orochimaru's part. He's already here and well it's best that I show you. The emperor leads her to where Orochimaru is. They end up at the labs and Koyuki sees Orochimaru working with the scientist as they're studying a head that's alive and talking. So Orochimaru, have you guys made any discovery? Asked the emperor. Yes, it seems that the secret behind this one's immorality is that of his god and I don't think he's going to last long, said Orochimaru and the emperor says so he must keep giving his god sacrifices is what I am hearing. Is that right? The pale-skinned man nods. That's right sire. The emperor says then let his last days on this earth be somewhere he hates. The emperor thinks and then says put him in the pinkest, cutest, and childish room you can think of. So your daughters play him? Asked one of the scientists. The emperor says they have 5 of them so yes the one not used the most and also put in lullabies on the speakers and the My Little Pony on the TV and make sure the episode's on repeat. So which one? Gen 4. Another asks. More like Gens 1, 2 and 3. The emperor says. The scientist nods and the head is confused as Orochimaru asks do I return to my project? And best of luck Haiden. Yes Orochimaru, you may, said the emperor. Koyuki asks what's his project? Oh to create life, said Orochimaru and then he says the emperor is allowing this as immortality. It is not a good thing. I may not have family well besides Anko. I left Konoha with permission from the 3rd Hokage, but Danzo had spread lies and had someone act like me to kill my sensei. How he got Manda I have no idea. I see, said Koyuki as she is surprised by this as the pale man leaves. Now then, said the emperor, I'm sure the girls will be happy to see you. The emperor with Koyuki walks into the palace and all but 2 guards leave with Alpha staying with him as it is time for him to walk around after all. Later at the dining room. The 3 girls are eating their breakfast, the doors open and in comes their father with Koyuki. Yuki. Shouts Anya. Koyuki smiles as she says Anya. Anya runs over to Koyuki and jumps with Koyuki catching her and hugging her. How are you doing Anya? Are you being a good girl? Asked Koyuki and Anya smiled and nodded. That is good so let's get you finished with breakfast as I need some as well. Koyuki puts Anya back in her seat and sits down, then Kiryu, skinny form, comes in with breakfast for her. Oh Lady Koyuki. Said Kiryu. Koyuki smiles and waved then pancakes are put in front of her as Koyuki says to Kiryu, I must know your secret, what do you use to make such amazing meals? Kiryu says sorry dear Koyuki, that is a secret, not even Mr. Emperor knows it. It's true, I tried and she won't give me an answer, said the Emperor with his mask off as he was eating. Kiryu giggles and says it is not from a lack of trying. But I am glad to be one of his wives. But that secret will be passed on to my children when they are old enough, as they are old family recipes and techniques. This makes Koyuki look at the three, but one of them we already told her that she should tell her birth children, said Kana, as she's the smart one of the three. Though it did break my heart, she is right as much I don't like it, said Kiryu. The other chuckled and Iri said, but eating her food is wonderful. She smiles, and Koyuki says I see. The Emperor nods as he starts to eat as well. The Emperor says I think I will invite all the leaders here for dinner tonight to explain the rules and show off the prizes. Alright, I will make the best meals that I know from the eastern side, said Kiryu. Emperor says also make a few western dishes as well. Kiryu nods in agreement and heads to the kitchen to prepare for tonight as the three girls ask, can we join Papa? Dinner? I don't know, said the Emperor. Then Yor says not a good idea, as there are many people like Konoha who might try to kidnap you, girls. So for your protection, you will be having dinner with me. All three are disappointed. We wanted to see the leaders from other lands. The Emperor says I know, girls, but the leaders over there have children become soldiers and I don't want this for you. I want you to grow up happy and healthy and not have to put your lives on the line that early. All three. Okay Papa. The Emperor walks over and kisses his daughters' heads. Don't pout, I will make it up to you three. For now he finished his breakfast and puts on his mask. I have a meeting get to. The Emperor gets up and heads to where his meeting is with his two guards and Alpha with them, as the Emperor sits upon what seems to be a large table and around him are his generals, as each controlled parts of the empire that things run smoothly and they're all only answer to the Emperor. The Emperor removes his mask as his face is hidden in the shadows. Greetings my generals. So why has this meeting been called? Well, we got reports from scouts, the ones that you had sent some time ago, said one of them. This gets the Emperor's attention as he remembers. Yes, the ones I sent to find the last diamond. The Emperor turns to him and asks, so is it going to be brought here? That diamond is going to have a lot of value and we need it. Well, given what was written, this is the grandfather of the others we already have, as it is very massive, said other. The Emperor nods. I want it brought to the palace. I would like it not because of greed but more protection. So I will be in the palace treasury. Yes sir. So anything else? Said the Emperor. Yes, the other thing is that, well, a couple tried to pull a certain card on the shops, said one who is the head of the general goods and spells. Let me guess, I'm a China and thus you should give me this for free. Am I right? Pathetic. Said the Emperor as he knows who it is right off the bat. The person nods. Yes, it was that exactly. He holding the note that has these words. How did never mind, anyway we have this person in a jail cell and he's from another land and a lone girl has demanding non-stop to release him. Is it a she though? I've seen her, as she has long pink hair and I think it's a boy wearing girl's clothes, said the head of the security of the empire, and the Emperor sighs. Great, the pink banshee of Konoha. Still an uchiha slut bitch. Div tease her with one of the Zynerges and take her away, said the Emperor. The others nodded as Zynerges helped with electricity in catching criminals, along with helping in war and battle. Very well, said the head of security. The Emperor nodded, then they kept up the meeting. Also let the Hokage know that this will not be tolerated at all. As I will have that idiot killed. Uchiha or not I don't care, said the Emperor. With that, the meeting went on. Then 3 hours later the meeting ends and everyone leaves and the Emperor has his mask on as he says, let my wives know that I'm going for a walk. One of the maids bows as the Emperor then gets on Alpha, who lets out a roar and heads out of the palace. And walk around the city. The Emperor is walking with Alpha and many people are smiling and bowing to the Emperor, while also clearing the way as Alpha is big, but for the carts and other vehicles, the Emperor and Alpha move out of the way. Far away, a group of Konoha are watching this from the hotel's balcony in awe of how different the Emperor's massive dog is from the others. Then someone enters their room and it is a soldier, and someone asks, what is that creature with the Emperor? And the soldier says that is a Stygian Zyniger. A rare type of Zyniger. Powerful electrical attacks and they are beasts in battle. We were lucky to get partners with them. Now why am I here? You need to get your people in line or else they will end up as meat to the Zynigers. They are carnivores. One of them right, sorry for the trouble, the soldier says, keep them in line. From a clan or not we don't bow to those clans here in the west. They are nothing but ants to us. Then he leaves. The guy who was talking with the soldier is named Shikamaru as he says, I tried to warn Sasuke, but no, he has to be such a drag. The woman says no surprise, I am glad my crush is dead, but now since Naruto was banished, things have gone from bad to worse with Konoha. Sasuke tried to demand things from the Uzumaki clan, the Namikaze house, before it all disappeared, along with one of the masks from the rundown shrine. Now we are demanding things from our clans. Her name is Ino. I know, but what can we do? And besides, there's not much he can do as well getting any help since now we no longer have a civilian council after all, said Shikamaru. Ino says, it does not matter, the Mincid is not leaving and he needs to die. Wow, I never thought I would hear it from you, Ino, said another who was eating a bag of chips. Ino said, Choji, I have grown up. As she crosses her arms. I get it, but still, don't we need him for the tournament thing? Said Choji. You mean from the guy who barely got any training, thanks to Lady Tsunade forbidding him any training for 10 years? Said Shikamaru. Fair enough, said Choji. Tsunade says, I will find out as I need more info about the tournament. She is wearing a nice fancy dress, which Ino says, wow, Lady Tsunade, why are you all nice for? Tsunade says, I have been invited to dinner in the palace with the other leaders and we are going to learn more about the tournament. The three nod. I see. It's a shame that Shizune didn't come, she would love to come with you to the palace, said Ino. Yeah, but someone gots to look after the village, said Tsunade. Choji. I heard rumors that the chef that the emperor has is something that of a goddess among chefs. Tsunade says rumors say she is married and off the market. Damn it, Choji is disappointed. Tsunade then answers the door as if someone had knocked on it. And behind it is Soifun with her black hair with a serious face as she is small and she says, are you Tsunade of Konoha? Tsunade says, I am. Follow me, she walks away. They are walking out of the hotel and they see the emperor on Alpha's back and running through the street heading to the palace. Tsunade blinks as she is about to say, but Soifun says yes, it happens a lot really, so you see the emperor on his partner's back a lot. Asks Tsunade, that's because they've been together for 9 years since Alpha was young after his mother was killed. Said a hooded woman as she walked up to them and Soifun knows who it is but doesn't say anything. Tsunade jumps a little bit at the hooded woman, how long were you there? Tsunade asks, the hooded woman says, it is my job to be able to find my way around the castle. I have been here for 20 minutes. Tsunade looks at her as she says, so who are you? Sorry, but that's a secret, though I can't say the same with my partner in crime. Tsunade says, Hinata is your partner in crime. Oh, there goes the mystery guessing game, but yes, that's her, said the hooded woman. She then walks away and Tsunade asks upon seeing that her right arm isn't moving much, what happened to your arm? The hooded woman stops and says, classified. As she resumes on her way. Tsunade sighs as Soifun says, let's go, else you will be late. She is walking and Tsunade follows as the two are heading toward the palace. Later at the palace, dinner time. The leaders are in the dining hall, then the doors open and 3 people walk in. One is the emperor and the other is wearing a dress like she is a flamenco dancer and the other is a darker skinned woman, as the first one is named Viola and she's beautiful, as for the other one, her name is Uruchi and she too a beautiful but a bit of a wild aura. The emperor's aura is nothing more than power and authority. His gauntlet gleams in the light and he is wearing his mask, but the part that's covering his mouth is gone. He then gets to their seats and pulls them out for his lands as they sit down, then he takes his seat. Welcome to dinner, where you will learn the rules of the tournament and learn of the prizes that you will be competing for. Also, this place is neutral ground. He points at all of them, that means no fighting, and what's more, just enjoy the company and food. He smiles. Viola says tonight is not for trash talking. That is tomorrow when the tournament starts, then you can trash talk and other things. But as my emperor says, just enjoy the company. All of the leaders nod, the emperor snaps his fingers and maids came in with trays of food. Everything was cooked up by my personal royal chef Kiryu Hikifune. Everyone sees how amazing the food looks and it just makes them drool. Then some booze is poured into their cups and then the emperor says, well, dig in. As they sit, they see Alpha walks in as he goes to his spot and food is presented to what seems to be some large goat-like creature that any of the Easterns have ever seen. What is that goat? It is a goat. The Raikage asks, the emperor says that's a gaunget, a Fa's favorite, don't worry, there are lots of them both in the farms and in the wilds, as he sips his booze. The emperor says around our nation are creatures you have never seen before, so at times it is tough to survive, but we are stronger for it, so yeah, you can see not even in the wild, more so during the war times, it's not safe. He takes a bite of a large chicken leg. The leaders of the eastern villages are shocked at all this. Anyway, onto the important talks. The emperor snaps his fingers and 3 chests are brought out, one is medium, one is large, and the last is extra large. There's for the 3rd, 2nd, and of course champion prizes, and let's not forget for the 4th and below, all get 1 day free at the spas, you know, to smooth the pains of the body and loss, said the emperor. Then he snaps his fingers and the first chest is open. Everyone sees is a decorative weapon made out of pure gold with gems. It's not for fights and battle, mind you, but what it's worth could pretty much buy you a whole small land. The next one is open to show is going to be gems, metals and a few other things of value. They could buy you last 3 large islands. The last one though. Everyone is glaring at it. It is a gigantic green diamond as it is bigger than everyone's head. Oh, this one, this is worth everything. He taps on it. This what we call the green meteoric diamond. It is worth 5 fortunes of the world. I own many of them as I was lucky to find them and this one just happened to be the smallest one. The leaders have their jaws dropped at the grand prize as a woman named May says that's the smallest. That's right, as this is not from here, it's not from anywhere, but he points upward. From space. They all yell as if they couldn't believe it, and the fact the Emperor has them would mean the Maelstrom Empire is beyond loaded and will never have low funds until the end of time. Yeah, it was crazy when I found the first one. At first, I thought it would do some harm, said the Emperor. He gets up and then walks over to it. Turns out it was formed long ago. The biggest one was found not that long ago as they are all in the treasury of the palace. The location is not known. But the biggest is worth so much we don't even know. Tsunade asks, wait, the biggest? Just how big is it? The Emperor thinks and says it is as big as a boulder. The leaders are shocked. Any other questions? Said the Emperor. Yes, what happened to one Naruto Uzumaki? Tsunade asks a man with red hair and rings around his eyes as he says why? So you could kill him or worse. What? No, Gaara. Nothing like that at all. The Emperor says Naruto vanished after the war. I could never find him at all. He has gone to the ground and no one has been able to find him. He does not want to be found. He just left. Without Hinata? Said Tsunade as she questions this. Yes, he told her not go to after him and just make a new life here. The Emperor says I remember what he said to me as he left. He said to me be a better ruler than those we put down or some of the others from the east. That is what he told me, then he vanished. Tsunade couldn't believe this as she thought that doesn't make sense. Hinata would have followed him, but I guess he must have left at night so that she won't follow him. The Emperor then sips his drink as it is vodka which is made in his country and it is powerful stuff. Any other questions? Said the Emperor. Gaara asks, did he seem happy when he left? And the Emperor says he did leave a note saying I am free at last. So I would say yes, he is happy. Gaara nods. Now then, who wants some Empire-made vodka? Asked the Emperor. The Raikage says I will try it. He is given a shot glass and when he drinks and boom the Raikage feels the effect and Tsunade then as well and she can handle it a bit better but it is powerful. What is this? It's way too strong. Said Tsunade as she felt drunk already. The Emperor says our alcohol is stronger than the East's booze. As he finished saying that, all but one fainted on the spot. The Emperor with his ladies laugh, but the only one standing is Koyuki as she is sipping wine from the west. Thank goodness that Naruto started her off small and then helped build it up. Then smoke appears from a necklace around Naruto's neck and it is a genie. Glad to see that you are still up, said the Emperor as she says oh trust, I'm drunk, but it will take more too. Then she passes out after one more sip. The Emperor chuckles and then says Yuruchi please take her to her room please. He hears no reply, so he asks Yuruchi. He turns to see only Viola, who is the only one that is drinking water as she points up at the ceiling, and the Emperor looks up and sees a drunk that's dancing on the large lightning as she is singing something that no one could understand. Maybe bringing out the heavy stuff was a bad idea, said the Emperor. Maybe, said Viola. The Emperor then says she also drinks very strong sake. Grafia, get Koyuki to her room please, and Soifin, can you get your master off the ceiling before sh. The black cat is landed on a bowl of salad as the cat says I dream of a cat wearing boots and he's feared swordsman as she giggles. The Emperor sighs and says great. I see that it came out well, said the hooded woman as she appeared beside the Emperor as Soifin picked up the black cat. The Emperor nodded yes indeed. He snaps his fingers and the leaders are taken back to their hotel rooms. As all of them hear talking in their sleep about something random. The next day. The leaders have a hangover and the Emperor holds the tournament to let them recover. In the hotel room of the Konoha. I never thought I would say this, but I think I'm going to quit drinking, said Tsunade as she held an ice bag over her head. Ino was shocked and had a recorder. Can you say that again for the record? I'm quitting drinking for good, are you happy now cutie? Ino smirks and says this is proof for Shizune as I want to see her reaction. Why are you not fazed by Lady Tsunade calling you cutie? Said Choji. Ino says she isn't the first woman who called me that and she truly will not be the last. Sachoji gets cut off by Tsunade. Keep that thing on me as I'm going to explain about the whole prizes of the tournament. Ino does as told and keeps recording and Tsunade explains what the prizes are and they are shocked at the grand prize, a green meteoric diamond worth a massive fortune and also it's from space, that's why even the smallest one is worth so much. Ino drops the recorder as that is shocking. That's unbelievable, said Ino. Shikamaru says I never thought something that worth that much would literally drop from the sky. Tsunade says this isn't the only one, there are more in the treasure vault somewhere in the palace and I am not going to try anything. It is not worth it. She rests her head. The others nod and Shikamaru says I am glad that Sasuke and Sakura are in prison, but they will be here tomorrow. Yeah, we're not getting Sasuke back, said Tsunade, as she remembered hearing from Soifin that they are not returning him. Shikamaru says then we are down a team and no one gets to see the great Uchiha get his ass kicked. Hell, he might be foolish enough to challenge the emperor. I forgot, how did Sasuke get locked up again? Said Ino. Shikamaru says he tried throwing his name around to get free stuff. Oh right, said Ino as she remembers now. Ino shakes her head. So what is going to happen to Team 7 as Team 9 and 10 are fighting, but I don't know about Team 8. Tsunade groans as she says, I guess I could have one of my Anbu guards to act as a replacement for Sasuke, and Ino asks and Sakura's replacement. No need to sigh, she is coming back after all, said Tsunade. Then there is a knock at the door, and Ino opens it to see Sakura with something powerful over her mouth, and she is pushed into the room. Keep the banshee on a short leash. Ino says we will try. They nod, then walk away, and Ino closes the door and turns to Sakura. Sakura, you have to understand Sasuke has no power at all, even though your father lost all of his power. Here we are nothing but foreigners and have no power here at all. She holds Sakura close to her face. Got it? Shouted Ino. Sakura growls at Ino. Ino says quiet you. You're just mad that your life turned to shit since you turned your back on Naruto. Sakura growls even more as it is the truth, as after Naruto was banished, then her life went to shit. She lost her studentship with Tsunade. Her once promise of getting the Chunin rank has been denied for 10 years in a row, and what's more, her family are on the brink of losing it all. Sakura is also going to lose her job of being a ninja if she can't prove herself in the tournament. Oh right, that reminds me, Ino my dear and best student, could you take me to my room? Said Tsunade. Ino nods and takes her to her room. The next day. Everyone is at the arena and the teams are waiting for things. Then the emperor enters the royal booth with his guards and a few of his wives with Alpha, as well as Alpha is napping. The emperor then stands up to the roaring of the crowd, then he puts his hand up and says that is heard throughout the whole arena. Welcome everyone. I hope we see some wonderful fights today. Remember reading the rules in the notes that were handed out. With that, fight hard. Let the tournament begin. Everyone cheered and soon enough, round 1 began with match 1. Team 8 vs Empire Team 4. They are made up of Mai, Kof, Chun-Li, Urza, and Cola. As Team 8 steps into the ring and one of them whistles due to the beautiful 4 women, as the match starts Hanabi sees Mai appear and slugs her. Will the boy with the fangs is kicked by Chun-Li, which is due to him looking at her insanely thick thighs. A guy with shades faces off Cola. And finally Urza against a 4th member, Akka the sensei of Team 8. On the announcer booth, we off with a great start with the first match as the Empire Team 4, or as they are known as the Fearsome 4. Chun-Li slams her opponent on the ground as the boy named Kiba is groaning. Chun-Li says, you should really watch your fucking mouth boy. I can break you like a toothpick. She adds pressure onto her foot onto Kiba's face. She then removes it and kicks him, making a tooth come out of his mouth. As for Hanabi, well. Mai is slamming Hanabi's face into the ground with Hanabi trying to break free, but Mai is stronger. That's it you bitch, this is what you did to my master when you both were fucking younger. She has Hanabi's arm in a hold that makes it hurt, and if done with enough pressure, the arm will snap and break. Hanabi says you fucking bitch. And Mai says, isn't this what you did to master when she was down? You would always hit her when she was down. Hanabi groans in pain as she says stop. You're going to break my arm. Mai says so fucking what, you have done worse to your older sister. So you have no fucking room to talk. Hanabi realized how do yo easy, she talks about you and how you're the worst little she ever had after everything you have done to her, said Mai as she added more to the pressure. Then everyone heard snap. And Hanabi lets out a blood-curdling scream as her arm just broke. Oh, that has to hurt, ladies and gentlemen. The announcer said it is a man as he is wearing an odd mask. The emperor shrugs, then Hanabi is thrown into a wall as she is crying, and Mai turns away as she is no longer worth her time as she is waiting for her teammates to be done with their own fights. As for the male with shades, named Shino, as Cola says you're tougher than I thought. As she was trying to get closer, then she was able to use air pressure to push the bugs away. Most, but not all, got blown away, but there's still more as Shino just standing there as he watches. Then she smirks and disappears and Shino is looking around, then he is hit and sent into the wall. Got you? Said Cola as she said, damn was he tough. Now, onto the last pair, and right now. Kurenai is panting as she has cuts along her body as she is trying to dodge Urza more while holding a kunai, which is nearly dull, and on the point of breaking as Urza, who has a sword out, as she says give up, cause most of your team are out and you're the last one standing. Kurenai is panting and says to herself I really should have trained in other things. As Urza stands there as the others are watching this, Kurenai sighs as she says I give up and drops the kunai. Urza says good, cause I was about to aim for your hair. Her sword vanishes. Then the Empire team walks away and the Konoha team limps to their place while Hanabi is taken to the hospital and the other teams are now nervous when it comes to the Empire teams. That was brutal, said Shikamaru. Well, what do you expect from us, mister? I like watching clouds to be some bunch of pushovers, said the voice of Hinata as she walks in. She is still wearing her blindfold, but no longer wearing her hooded clothes, as they all see her wearing clothes of a vest, which under it is a loose little purple with long sleeves and under it is notable chain vest with dark blue loose pants with the symbol of the Empire, and what's more, she's insanely curvy with largest breast of J-cup wide hips and thick thighs, all of them Hinata. As Ino thinking how damn. I guess her time being away has been really kind to her cause she's our age yet. Sakura is grinding her teeth in pure jealousy. Tsunade, whoa, she's bigger than I was when I was her age. In her thoughts, as Asuma says, Hinata, what brings you by? Surely not rejoin us, right? Hinata scoffs at that, please, as if, no, I'm here to see how nervous you lots are, and by the looks of things, you are nothing more than scared after seeing what my student did to my former tormentor, and if she is against Niji she will do worse. Niji is surprised to hear that. Is it because of the beating back at our match years ago? Ask Niji. Yup, Hinata answered as Niji sighs as he says, I kinda had it coming. With his head drop. Yes you do, Niji, you nearly killed me. Now I know you have more questions for me. Said Hinata. Ino asks, I have a couple, but namely the blindfold, why do you have it on anyway? You're a Hyuga and with your bloodline, that is pretty much useless. Hinata uncovers her eyes showing that she was blind now as she has a horizontal scar across her eyes as her once pearl-white eyes that were filled with kindness and hope are now a dull color. Well, how else do I hide my scar? Hinata answers. Ino is shaking as she says, you're blind. Hinata says, I got it from the war of the forming of the empire. I was fighting this well-price of woman. Oh, you would have hated her. I sure have. After all, she would take children and sell them off to her buyers. No need to guess, just know. I paid my price and I'm stronger from it and I see way more than I ever could. Oh, and it was a dagger covered in poison and flame. They shiver in shock. I could fix them for you, Hinata said. Tsunade, no, I'm good. Any more questions? Said Hinata. Tenten comes up to her and waves her hand at her. If you are blind, like truly, then how can you? Before Tenten could finish, Hinata grabs it and she turns to her trade secret, said Hinata as she lets go, then she starts to leave. Know this, you are all going to have a hard fight of your lives. Wait, one more question. What about Naruto? Or the fact that your own sister was beaten badly? Said Shikamaru. Hinata doesn't turn as she says, Naruto, well, I haven't talked to him in some time, given he left, and for my sister. I don't have one, not anymore. Hinata then walks away. Everyone was shocked by that. Moments later. As Hinata walking is her feet stepping on the steps but stops at the other pair that was waiting there as she says, I know what you are going to say. I'm not saying anything, said the Emperor with his arms crossed. You don't get to play that game with me, mister. The Emperor says, I am not saying anything, though if there's anything maybe it is time to move on, and this is the time to do it. The Emperor said. Hinata pouted at him until fine, you win. I hate it when you do this. She was a bit frustrated at that. The Emperor nods. With age comes wisdom. Plus you pick a few things when you hang out with Iroh. Yeah, by doing your mind trick, said Hinata as the Emperor removes a part of his mask and gives Hinata something. Moments later. Round 1, match 2 begin with a team from Suna against a team from Kumo as their fight. The Emperor is watching Kari, Amoy, and 2 no-named shinobi against Tamari, Baki, Kankuro, and Mitsuri. As the match is going on, the Emperor hears my lord. The Emperor sighs. What is it? He asks. I heard from one of the keepers that one of Alpha's mates had given birth to her litter. The Emperor nods. Understood. Keep them under watch as right now with many guests they might try to take them. Did any of them turn out to be like Alpha? Let me see, said the butler. In a few secs. I have news, sir. It seems one of them is the biggest of its ladder and it has the same fur colors as Alpha. The Emperor nods. Understood. Remember, I don't want anything to happen to them. Yes, sire, said the butler. As one of the girls asks, what's happening, Papa? The Emperor says, it seems one of Alpha's mates had their litter. Her eyes widen as she says, puppies. The Emperor chuckles. Eerie. Not right now. Okay, not when they were just born, as the mother will be very protective. The other 2 heard puppies, but the Emperor assures them that it was too soon to see them as the mother will likely not let any near them besides her mate. The kids pout as their father is right. The Emperor sees the winner as it is Team Kumo. The Emperor nods and politely claps. Once 5 fights were over, there was a sports break. The Emperor gets up and walks away as he asks if anyone wants something to eat. 2 women get up along with Alpha. Those women are Habano and Shiranui Mizuki. Eri, Anya, and Kana say they are hungry. I want a hot dog. Said Anya, candy apple. Eri said, and Crab. The Emperor nods, and the 3 head out. With Hinata. Hinata arrived at the hospital where she was at the front desk when the nurse lady Hinata. Hinata then asks, where is she? The nurse, who is that, my lady? Hinata says the one that looks like me but younger and has an arm broken. The person cheeks and then says room 314. Hinata nods and heads there. It is time to put the past to rest now until she reaches the room and just walks in. Only to have a train nearly hit her as Hanabi shouts, "What are you doing here?" There are veins around her eyes as she has her Byakugan activated. Hinata says, "Well, it seems you do live up to your name." She closes the door. Hinata then says, "Well, it is time I do this and you have no choice but to listen to me, Hanabi." She grabs a chair and sits on it as she says now, then she removes her eyes blindfolded and looks at Hanabi, who is surprised to see Hinata's eyes. "Your eyes," said Hanabi. "Forget it and look at me as I say this, Hanabi," said Hinata. Hanabi does, and Hinata starts from the beginning. "When I heard I was having a little sister I was excited, then mom passed away. Then when it came to your training, father molded you after him and you started putting me down. Do you even know how heartbreaking that was? I felt a knife stab into my heart. Then as we grew you got worse and had my title as the heiress taken away. Then when I was to be married off to an old fucking fool, all you said was this is how you can be useful to the clan. That was the straw that broke the camel's back." Hanabi is listening. Then Hinata says, "That was the day I felt I was truly alone. So let me guess, things went to shit. You turned into our father. After some time I left, right? You started to abuse the branch family much like the other main branch shits. Hanabi, you are no longer my sister, you are dead to me. You used me as a punching bag. Well, next time we fight I might kill you. Do you understand? I have no father nor do I have a sister. So guess what, after this you probably won't see me ever again and the clan can never come for my help." Hinata then gets up from the chair. Hanabi grinds on her teeth as she is angry when she sees a fork, so she grabs it and tries to attack her while Hanabi shouts, "You don't know what I went through." Next thing she knew, Hanabi is pinned onto the floor with a hand in a tight grip on her mouth as Hinata says, "Please, whatever you have gone through, it's child's play. I went through war. You had the safety and comfort of your clan. Oh, wait, dear old daddy has turned his sights on you since I left. Now I will feel more of my pain." She tightened her grip, "So don't test me because you have no idea what I'm capable of," said Hinata. Hanabi then sees Hinata's eyes glow in a way that's never seen, in a way that no member of the Hyuga clan could ever do. Then a silhouette appears behind Hinata and she is glaring at Hanabi. Hanabi widens her eyes as she gets scared as she thinks about one thing. What has Hinata become? Hinata then gets off Hanabi and walks out of the room, closing the door and covering her eyes again. Hanabi starts to cry as everything she has done to her now estranged sister is hitting her all at once. But the emperor. The emperor returns with food and his daughters are eating as he gets up to stretch as the next fight is about to start. Team 7 vs Empire Team 4. Team 7 enters the arena, then the Empire team does as well. Their members are Juri, Natsu, Dragneel, Laxus, and Gagiel. Kakashi says, "Well, I feel like we fucking some real monsters more," so that one, he points to the one with pink hair with fire coming out of his mouth. Then the fight starts and Juri is in front of Sakura with an evil smirk. Oh boy. The psycho fighter. Juri is going to make her first move just before the match. Shouted announcer. Juri punches Sakura with a punch. She says, "Ha, you're not so tough." Her left eye glows with some kind of energy. Juri is just hitting Sakura one hit after the other, while Natsu is against Kakashi, while Sai is fighting Gagiel, and the Anbu is fighting Laxus. And all of them are overwhelming Team 7. On the royal booth. "Well, isn't this something?" said the emperor as his daughters were eating their food. Then his wife Abana asked, "Darling, I thought that they were supposed to be a powerful team." The emperor says, "Without Naruto, they aren't, and even reports say that Sasuke was not allowed to train for 10 years. He laughed as he found this funny. "Back on the ring. Come on. I heard you had some super strength. That you couple break stone rock into pieces," said Juri as she gave combo after combo, not letting Sakura counter. Sakura is bleeding from the lip, then she gets a black eye and Juri says this is pathetic. She then kicks Sakura away as the pink hair girl is sent toward the wall. Before she could meet it, Juri follows and tackles Sakura, making the impact onto the wall much harder than it needs to be. Juri then says, "Go ahead, I will give you one free shot. Prove you have the strength." The Anbu is sent into the stands defeated as their body is covered in lightning. Kakashi is dodging the fire attacks from Natsu as Kakashi is thinking this kid is insane. Then he is engulfed by a dragon roar as it is nothing but a massive ball of fire. Sai on the other hand, he's is being held by the head as Gagiel as he says, "Geez, I thought you guys from Konoha of the East be some kind of elite ninjas." Sai is out cold as well as he is thrown to the ground. Sakura then takes a swing and hits Juri, but it barely even turns her head, making Juri scoff, then slams her fist into Sakura with an uppercut, making her fly out of the arena. And soon enough, Team 7 lost the match. After that, the teams who won returned to the arena floor and they are seeing 32 people as Konoha's Team 9 made it along with some teams from Kumo, Iowa and missed. The rest are Empire teams. Wonderful. Now we have cut down the fighters to a manageable 32, but I think we need to cut you down even more. So next we will have a free-for-all, then the 14 will move on to the next match. Plus 2 special guests, said the Emperor. Time skip at sundown. The 14 moving on are Kuretsuchi, Natsu, Chun-Li, Mai, Urza, Natsu, Gajiel, Karui, Amoy, Chijuro, Laxus, Lee, Guy, Tenten, Niji, and Juri. Wonderful, tomorrow is when you will fight, so rest up as you will need it, but you need to know that you will have 2 special surprise competitors for you all tomorrow. Good night everyone. Everyone leaves for the night. The Emperor is walking to the arena with some of his wives and Alpha as he is eating something. One of them, I don't recognize that from anywhere, where do you get it? The Emperor says sorry, but it's a secret as he takes a bite, the others pout, then a guard walks up to the Emperor and whispers into his ear, and the Emperor nods. Understood, but it will be after the tournament. I want them all to see him get thrashed. Orders the Emperor. Later at the arena. The Emperor sits on his throne as his wives who are with him are there to watch, as there is one more woman there and there's a divine presence about her. As well, given that she's insanely beautiful with a body that many would die for to have, she has massive breasts, wearing a toga with blonde curly hair. This is Aphrodite, Roar, the Greek goddess of love and beauty. She is also a wife to the Emperor. She is sipping some wine as she is watching the fighters enter the arena. Then the Emperor stands up. Greetings everyone. To the fighters, those envelopes you got yesterday and told not to open until told. Well, open them now. Everyone cheered as the fighters entered. Then they open the envelopes and they see numbers. Those numbers are your places in this fight. You will be paired by those numbers, said the Emperors. They say their numbers start with Chun-Li 6. Mai 1. Urza 13. Natsu 12. Lee, 11. Laxus 9. Amoy 10. Carry 3. Niji 2. Chijuro 16. Juri, 8. Guy 5. Gajiel 7. And finally Tenten 14. This made everyone confused. Then the lights show on the hall and out comes Hinata and the hooded woman. The Emperor rises and says 2 fighters will have the honor to fight against 2 of my Grand Guards, as they want to win this prize as well, so bring you a game. Now please tell them your numbers. Hinata says 15. And the hooded woman says 4. This gets the attraction too, as their names are Amoy and Carrie. As they say Samui, the hooded one removes her hood with her left arm instead of her right, which is hanging from her kimono top, and says it has been some time. But yes, I am Samui. My title is Samui of White Lightning. Both look at Samui, but so toward her arm as Carrie says you're right, why isn't it Mo? Oh, you will find out when it is my turn to fight. I am not giving away anything, said Samui. She smiles as Amoy says there's something different about you, like you're not being cool as you used to. Samui says one thing, war changes people. She walks off with Hinata as the 2 talks about something. The screen shows the matchups: Mai vs Niji. Carrie vs Samui. Guy vs Chun-Li. Gajiel vs Juri. Laxus vs Amoy. Lee vs Natsu. Urza vs Tenten. Hinata vs Chijuro. Niji sweats as he knows that he's in for it. The others besides Mai and Niji leave the arena as he says, is it too late for me to forfeit? Mai says yes, very much so. Niji groans, then they hear begin. Hinata on the fighter spots as she says she's about to break him in 3, 2, 1, then they hear a loud yell as Mai is bending his back so much that it could snap in half. Samui says you do train your students well, and harshly Hinata nods, I know I did. Then they all hear uncle. Then Niji meets the wall with his face. Just what do you teach them anyway, Hinata? Asked Samui, and Hinata said, how to fight and not to take shit. Niji is out now and Samui then enters the ring with Carrie. Carrie is sweating as she has no idea what Samui has been up to all this time. She asks, so is there a chance that I could get you to return to Kumo? Samui says not a chance, I was betrayed. The damn council tried to sell me off to a slave trader to make me into a sex slave. One of the fingers of her right arm begins to move which no one noticed, so I left, come here and truly tested my mettle. They here begin. Carrie brings out her sword and Samui does not move at all as she just smiles with her eyes closed. Carrie then charges and Samui dodges the strike from Carrie's sword, then Samui moves her right arm, having her top on her right side to show her arm as a prosthetic, and Samui smirks as she catches the blade with her right hand, shocking people from Kumo and the elemental nations. Carrie says you can move it. With her eyes widened as she realizes it's not her arm, Samui says, oh this. It a custom made, got it from the best friend of my emperor's mother, though he's what most would call a crafter, that's way ahead of our time. Samui then squeezes the hand and the blade shatters, then her arm transforms and a blade comes out and she points it at Carrie's neck. Carrie's eyes widen as Samui, and also I gained a level of lightning that no one in Kumo would ever gain, as it stands above of the fabled black lightning, as she says that white color lightning begins sparks around her. Iraikage is shocked at seeing that and Carrie asks what kind of lightning. And Samui says the heavens lightning. Her body begins to discharge the white lightning. Harry is very nervous as she knows the story of Heaven's lightning is used by the Phoenix Primordial of the elements, who is also the king of all phoenixes. Harry, now then, like a taste of my lightning. It will be a shock that there will be no other, said Samui with a smile. Carrie gulps, but she will try as she summons another sword from a scroll and charges towards Samui. Sex later. Samui and Carrie's blades have met a bad idea as Carrie is screaming as the lightning is coursing through her body, with her eyes now fully white as she loses consciousness. Samui's arm turns back to normal and puts it back to where it belongs and walks off with two medics getting Carrie off the field. Samui says thought she would handle it more. Samui gets to her place and the next two fighters come out and it is Guy versus Chun-Li. Both walk into the ring and Might Guy says I'm Might Guy, let's have a youthful fight. He smirks as there's a shine on his teeth. Chun-Li says I don't want to hear that word ever again. Guy says why? Chun-Li says I will not fall for that curse. I have heard stories of what you and that student of yours have done to people. She gets into her fighting stance. Guy says unyouthful words. Begin. Both begin their fight. Chun-Li appears in front of Guy and kicks him hard. Guy takes as he tries to land a counter back, but Chun-Li dodges and punches him in the face hard. In the royal booth. The Emperor says Chun-Li is beautiful, but in a fight, she is a beast, one of the wives, why haven't you put a ring on her? As they smirk. The Emperor says she wants Bison caught first before anything else. We are close to getting him. All of them say if you say so. One says though that doesn't stop you two from getting intimate, though she smiles. The Emperor says her job and hunting him is stressful. Aphrodite smirks as she says I know. The Emperor then asks how much do you want that sexy ass to turn red, then they hear not in front of the girls you two. The Emperor says oh they have seen some crazier things. Oh there goes that guy's teeth. Said Anya. They turn to see Chun-Li knock out Guy's teeth by kicking him hard. Everyone in the stands is letting out oh. As they give a sympathetic reaction as the couple unknowingly touches their own teeth as Guy falls to the ground as he is out for the count. Then Chun-Li is named the winner. Chun-Li leaves, then Gajeel and Juri enter the ring as Chun-Li is going to her spot. She hears so, that brutal Chun-Li asks Juri, and Chun-Li says he needed it. As Juri shrugs if you say so she walks over. Then the fight starts and Gajeel is dodging Juri. As the fight goes on, Samui is yawning as she hears bored. Asked Hinata, Samui said yes. I am but it is kinda fun. Also, did you hear that someone wants to fight for their freedom? Hinata thinks about it I don't think so, then again, I am not the know-it-all kind of girl after all. Samui says it seems it is Ducky who is challenging our emperor. Oh, Sasuke. Yeah, he's dead meat. She crosses her arms, and Samui nods yeah, our emperor is not known as the strongest for nothing. Hinata then asks so what are your plans after this? Samui says I am thinking of relaxing in the royal hot springs. Thank goodness for that as it has healing properties. Hinata asks as for me, I'm going to head home and sleep as I'm feeling tired. Samui nods yeah understood. She guessed what had happened and still feels tired from it. The fight ends with Juri winning. Then Laxus and Amoy enter the arena. Later at the end of the matches. Ladies and gentlemen, tomorrow is going to be the quarterfinals with Samui versus Chun-Li and Urza versus Hinata. Then those who were beaten will fight for third place. Said the announcer. Everyone is looking forward to their matches as they walk and talk about it as if they can't wait. The Emperor heads back to the palace with his family. Later at the palace. The Emperor walks into the bedroom as he does, he finds Hinata sleeping on the bed with her gear and clothes off and sleeps in her bra and underwear. He sighs and joins her as he falls asleep. The next day. It is the quarter-finals between Samui versus Chun-Li and Hinata versus Urza, as which one will happen first. Meanwhile in the royal booth. The Emperor is watching the final fights and with him are all of his wives and his special guest Koyuki along with his daughters, so who do you think will win the whole tournament? Asked the Emperor. The three daughters shout Hinata. The Emperor chuckles at that, then Samui gets out into the arena with Chun-Li. She says let's have a good fight Chun-Li. And Chun-Li smiles and nods. Time skip. Samui is standing as the winner of the whole tournament with Hinata in second and Urza in third place. On the royal booth. The girls are disappointed with their hope for Hinata to win, as Samui waves her left hand as she thanks everyone for the support and for cheering her on, even though her fight was tough. They were given their prizes and Samui smiled, then they all left the arena. Then the announcer says that now we have a special event planned today. Someone has challenged someone for his freedom from our prison. Everyone is wondering who could be it as there are so many inmates who want their freedom or have a shot at the Emperor, then someone is brought out in chains, the challenger is the idiotic Sasuke Uchiha. The people of the Empire start booing him as they don't know who this person is. As Sasuke is being dragged into the ring. Then he is unchained and is thrown into the ring and they head to a waiting area and wait for the end of the fight. Once Sasuke is in the ring, he says to the guard will you release me now you low he hears a loud voice cut him off. Now ladies and gentlemen. Give it up to our lord of these lands. The savior and our beloved emperor. Then the emperor floats down to the arena and lands and looks at Sasuke, but here is something, he stands at 6'4", well Sasuke is 4'9", as he hears now, then he looks at the emperor who says, I think it is time for me to fully reveal my true name. As he reaches for his mask, as he adds, just no, this will be shocking, he takes it off and drops it onto the ground. It hits the ground with a clank. Konoha looks like they have seen a ghost standing there, Naruto Uzumaki, but something is different as there is a scar over his right eye, and his right eye is the color of a blue flame. It was a result of the scar. Sasuke says, so you are alive after all. I thought you were dead. Naruto rolls his eyes, oh wow, how low you think of me, in case you had forgotten, didn't I punch your stomach so hard that your eyes were white for a moment? Naruto removes his top showing his muscles and scars from battle, and they also see a symbol, it looks like the universe, as Naruto says, I didn't forget when you shoved that arm of yours into my chest, he taps at the scar. Sasuke says that should have killed you. And Naruto says, yeah, I'd die and you might get in trouble with my mother. I don't know, but I will not die that easily, I will fight. He holds up a hand as a fully mastered Rasengan forms on his hand as he says, and guess what? I don't need my shadow clones to make this. Then they hear fight. Sasuke charges in like a fool as he has no idea what Naruto can do at all, as the Rasengan vanishes and soon enough. As Sasuke is inches away from Naruto, Sasuke widens his eyes as Naruto summons a weapon in his hand as it is a warhammer, and he uses the top part of it to hit Sasuke's stomach. Hard. Sasuke spits up blood and Naruto then sends the warhammer back and smirks, trust me, I am used to fools like you, charging at me like you think speed is your friend. Sasuke growls and then does the hand signs for the fireball, and Naruto just bats it away with the back of his hand as he says, really? Have the 10 years made you this weak, or have I truly become so strong that I'm at a level you never hoped to reach? Naruto then appears in front of Sasuke and grabs his throat, making him try to free himself as Sasuke coughs. Naruto then headbutts him hard and he starts bleeding from the forehead alone. I'm even tougher too, said Naruto. While on the fighters' booths. Both Samui and Hinata have hearts in their eyes as they're lovey-dovey as they together say, oh, he is so handsome when he is destroying his enemies. I love how dominant he is. Then both hear the voice, Sakura, that monster is trying to kill Sasuke-kun, stop him. Both look at her and Hinata says, no, if you ask me, I think he's getting what should have happened a long time ago. Naruto then throws him into a wall and asks, is this the fucking best that the great Uchiha can do? Itachi would give me a much better challenge. He walks over with his eyes glowing. Sasuke, while groaning in pain, fuck you Naruto. This doesn't change anything. You're still a loss, he screams in pain as his hand is stepped on. Sasuke sees that it was the hammer that Naruto had summoned as it on his hand. Naruto smirks and says the idiotic fool that is not trained for 10 years. He places his elbow on the handle part of the warhammer and adds pressure to it, thus making it heavier than it should be. Sasuke is growling as he hates this. Why? Why are you the one that's always getting so much stronger? You're a nobody. So why? Said Sasuke. Naruto says, to be honest with you, I worked, trained, and bled to get where I am today. Even back then, I worked myself to the bone, but here I am. Naruto then slams his foot into Sasuke's face, and right there, Sasuke is out cold. Get him the fuck out of here and back to his cell, orders Naruto, who picks up his outfit and puts it back on, then disappears and reappears in the royal booth. But he hears from below, you monster. And Naruto turns to look at her, and then turns to Aphrodite, my dear, can you tell what this person's gender is? As I can't. Asked Naruto. Aphrodite looks down and says she is a girl. Naruto, my dear, Naruto asks, are you sure she doesn't look like a woman as she is flat? Plus that voice isn't helping her case. Well, you make fair points, but she is a she, said Aphrodite. Then Naruto asks, you're the goddess here, my dear, how will anyone fall in love with her, as her attitude is fucking shit and she does not look like a woman if she gets confused as a man. Love? There are no love lines on her life, said Aphrodite. Naruto just laughs at that as Sakura is fuming as Sakura shouts, fuck you bitch. Naruto then stops and backs up a bit as Aphrodite is the goddess of love, but she is a very dangerous goddess to piss off as she is the daughter of Uranos, one of the Greek primordials. Aphrodite turns to Sakura with a dangerous glint in her eyes, did you call me a bitch? Funny, says the little girl who doesn't have any appealing features. You don't have any large breasts, an ass that's not even plump or even fat. Or even the proper curves for a woman. I am the embodiment of sexual energy. I am happily married to my husband, who is one of the sweetest men that I have ever met. You would abuse him for the littlest of stupid shit. You're already on Chaos's shit list and you just got onto mine. Naruto then places Anya on her lap and Aphrodite looks down, then her eyes stop glowing as Anya is looking at her cutely with eerie and Kana. Aphrodite says, oh sorry for getting upset, my girls. She hugs them. Naruto says, now then, leave. He looks at her as he snaps his fingers. Then Sakura disappears and appears in the Konoha hotel room as he and his wives and kids head to the palace, and Alpha is following. At the hotel rooms. "That fucking asshole, who does he think he is?" said Sakura as Ino and the rest of Team 9 are talking about something else. "I guess he lied to hide his true identity," said Ino. Shikamaru nods and says it explains a lot. "I wonder who this chaos is." As he had heard this Aphrodite woman say, Choji is crying as Kiryu Hikifune is Naruto's wife and he gets to eat her food every day. "Yeah, I think she might be a bit crazy cause she says she's a goddess, but there's no way," said Shikamaru. Then next thing they know Sakura is turned into a blobfish and a letter appears, "This is your punishment." From Aphrodite, the Greek goddess of love. Both are in shock as Ino says yeah, she's the real deal, "I believe now," as Shikamaru says, "I'm not going to answer as to how as it will troublesome." Then another letter appears and it says the only thing troublesome is the lazy Nara males who need to be motivated and the one way to do that is fear. Chaos. Shikamaru couldn't find the words to say, Ino giggled and said, "Oh, she told you." She points at him, then another letter says, "Ino, follow that heart of yours and find the right person or else." From Aphrodite. Ino blinks as she realizes she is either advice or a threat, or both. She starts to sweat and Tsunade is getting ready to go to the palace with the other leaders as it seems they would like something from the emperor. Shikamaru says, "What do you get, Ino?" Ino says nothing. She hides it, then Tsunade goes to the palace where Naruto and some of his wives are waiting. Later at the palace. Naruto is sitting on his throne with Aphrodite and hers with Hibana as well, who has her fan in front of her mouth with Samui and Hinata standing in front of them. As the leaders are before him as Naruto says, "I guess the first to say is that sorry for the hiding, but after everything that happened things have changed for me, along with the scar and I." Tsunade is the first to speak up, "Naruto, what happened to you?" Naruto looks at her puzzled, "What do you mean?" he asks. Tsunade said, "You weren't this ruthless." Naruto says one word explains it all. War. "You think the wars the nations had are bad? Ours were worse." He has his hand at Hinata and Samui. "Besides me, there are two better examples, Hinata lost her sight and Samui lost her arm, got stronger for it, yes though lost," said Naruto, then he points to his eye and then says along with the scars I got from the war. Naruto's gauntlet is on his right hand and Tsunade knows that Naruto could heal himself, but his arm, however. But the gauntlet gone and Naruto showing tattoos on his arm, then he shows his left arm with other tattoos that used to be scarred, but then my mother healed them. Said Naruto. Tsunade is confused. Mother? Naruto motions to the air which seems to be a portal forming and soon enough, someone steps out of the portal. This woman's beauty took his breath away, he could see she was at least 5'9", sporting high cheekbones with a beautiful heart-shaped face, her rather beautiful jawline framed by wavy moving locks of void black hair hiding her eyes from view, she was pale-skinned just like him. Sporting luscious puckered black lips, a heft bosom probably around at least a quadruple L cup, a thin waist, wide childbearing hips, a fat pair of ass cheeks that wobbled and bounced with the slightest of movement. She wore a black dress with black gloves, with her cleavage exposed with a necklace in the center between her large fatty memories, giving a tantalizing view. This was chaos. Chaos says hello as the men just have a nosebleed, even the women expect for Naruto and his family. Naruto says everyone meet Kushina Uzumaki or her true name Chaos, the top Greek primordial and my mother. Tsunade widens her eyes as she says Kushina. Chaos looks at Tsunade and gives her a smirk that Kushina would give as she has her hands on her hips, she says surprised. Then they hear grandma. As Naruto's adopted children run to Chaos who has a bright smile, my grandbabies. As she has her arms wide open for them. They jumped into her arms and they hugged her. Tsunade is speechless. Naruto starts to explain well mom being Chaos built herself and had her reincarnated and she was reincarnated into Kushina Uzumaki so she lived her life had me and when Kushina died she went back to mom and she got all the memories thus finding out about me. Tsunade just steps away as she is just going to be quiet. Naruto laughs. Hell, I have made friends with the main gods and goddesses. Hell, I met my ancestors Izanagi, Izanami, and Amaterasu. Hell, one of my wives is Aphrodite, the goddess of love and beauty. And Aphrodite giggles as it is true. This was too much for everyone and thus they fainted. Naruto laughs along with his wives at this as Hinata says, I think you broke them. Naruto shrugs. So what in this world you expect the unexpected? He laughs. A bit later, at the indoor hot springs. Naruto is relaxing in the waters, then Aphrodite enters and says, oh, it is good to see you relaxing, the guests are getting ready to leave soon. That's good to hear. Is it a problem? Naruto asks as he relaxes without care. Well, besides the pink hair girl, not really, said Aphrodite. Naruto says, I still think the girl is a man dear, but I might have a plan for the uchiha. Does it involve their group of girls heading over to his holding cell? Aphrodite. Naruto says no, it involves shooting him to Akama Island via cannon. Then says, but not before he gets his DNA extracted. Aphrodite says yeah please remove his ability to reproduce. That's the point as we speak the medic girls are doing that and once they're done with the first part they will remove his balls, Naruto said as Aphrodite gets in the water. But as that child is not meant to be a father at all. I can't wait to hear the scream of rage when he finds out his equipment is useless, said Naruto as Aphrodite sits next to him. Naruto smiles and pulls her closer, letting her head go to his shoulder before anything else. Your Majesty. Emergency. Naruto groans great and says okay have the cannons ready. Get the soldiers ready. Yes your Majesty. The person runs to do as told and Naruto says Aphrodite we will pick this up as I have plans for you. Then he kisses her as she says don't keep me waiting long. Naruto nods as he gets out of the water and puts on clothes and hurries. At the walls. Sections of walls open up to relieve cannons as one of the guards asks, who the hell builds many of these things? In the distance, a march of men made out of metal and wires. It is a massive army of machines. The four leading them are waiting and watching. They are Jacques Schnee, former husband of Willow Schnee, Crocodile, Enel, and Kage. As the captain of the guards well to be sure you lots, you are in a hell of a fight as their things are hard to put down. Then Naruto appears and asks what is going on. Well we can't fire the cannon cause well they're just bounce back at us, said the captain, and Naruto is surprised to hear that can't be, there are only two people who could make them, and one of them lives here. Naruto then looks through binoculars and sees as he sees a person in the background doing something, and Naruto sees the former Schnee's head being killed by one of the four, and Naruto thinks he tried to backstab the wrong person. Meanwhile on the other side. Are you sure this is wise to do? The man is crazy after all asked Enel, Crocodile says, you call yourself a god which you aren't. I'm a god, but even gods won't mess something insane as him. Enel as he points behind, Kage is whistling like nothing even happened, regardless, he's way too dangerous to let live after he's maybe insane, but his brain and intelligence are something that's beyond any standard genius, he built all of this by using scrap. Scrap. And all of them are robots loyal to him and second to us said Jacques. Then Kage points and says they are sending something out of the wall, all of them turn to see a spear coming at them and are sweating cause it's no normal spear as it belongs to the emperor, Naruto Uzumaki as it comes at them and fast. It just bounces back to him and he catches it, Naruto says I will be damn, even my hand spear is sent back and it could pierce through everything not anymore. The army stops as Jacques speaks up well hello Mr. Emperor so wonderfully you gain us, your grace, how's my wife? After all, you took her from me. He gets angry when Naruto rolls his eyes as he says could you let it go? That's ancient history. Besides all I did was wake her the fuck up to your shitty self and your pathetic son. Jacques growls but stops no matter, now Kage if you would be so kind huh? Oh right, said Kage as he pushed a few buttons and soon. A robot version of a Zinniger appears and Naruto says fuck. Then he and his troop see more appearing and Naruto says double fuck as this is insane. Kage says now then where was I he goes back putting something together as Jacques laughs next thing they all know someone appears near the shield generator, it is Blaze Phoenix Kage and he yawns as he was woken up, he says the hell is going on. Someone told me that there's someone who is using my barrier and stops as he notices Kage as Naruto says you don't happen to know him. Blaze says yes I do actually. Well, I know how to stop this shield, give me a minute. Blaze gets to work doing something Enel appears by grabbing Blaze by the face as he says, oh no you don't. He summons lightning, but everyone hears a loud bang. As everyone sees a gun being held up and it is Kage as he says you better not lay your hands on him he puts it away, but it is too late as Enel shocks Blaze and after 5 minutes Enel smirks thinking Blaze is dead, then he hears is that the best you truly got. Enel is shocked Blaze is still alive, then he is grabbed by the throat, let me show you true lightning you noob. Then a massive bolt of lightning hits him and he is screaming in pain as he is getting overloaded. Blaze is typing something in and says there you go. And presses enter and the machine starts to smoke but only have the robotic troops aim at Blaze and about the fire. Oh boy, said Blaze as he doesn't have anything for that or does he? Blaze smirks and sinks into the shadows and disappears as the machine is overloading and blows up as the robots begin firing only to stop. Kage pushes another button as Blaze is thrown out of the shadows as a pair of robots grab a hold of him. Naruto says damn it, men attack. The army charges and Naruto joins them, then Blaze asks hey Kage it is time to play a game. Kage stops and asks what kind of game? As the robot is still holding Blaze. Blaze is somehow able to pull out a target and says hit the bullseye. Blaze throws the target, Kage brings out a pair of guns as he aims at it moving until it lands on Jacques and he says wait don't do it. Kage looks at him while having his guns aimed at him use that brain of yours. Can't you use he's toying with you with a game so you could kill your allies, are you going to kill your allies, you blasted idiot. Blaze smirks as Kage says, you see, reasoning and I don't get along well, and I'm not a reasonable kind of guy, as I like my games. He pulls the triggers, and Jacques has a new hole in his head as the next moment he has last, he just stares at Kage in disbelief before falling down dead. Naruto says holy fuck as he thought what's wrong with this Kage person, and Blaze says this is no surprise at all. He was always like this, that's what him so damn dangerous. As Kage asks what's the next game. Blaze sighs then smiles, alright, let's see who has the better bots, yours against mine, the winner gets blueprints of the loser. Kage thinks about it and then pushes buttons as the robots stop and march over to where Kage is as the others. The hell, we were winning. I want those blueprints. Said Kage as Blaze call forward only one. Blaze then shows Kage the blueprints for the Cyber End Dragon, yes Yu-Gi-Oh! GX. So you finally did it? Well, let's see if it lives up to your expectations. Said Kage. Then the machine appears and lets out a roar and starts blasting the robotic army, helping the Empire army. Soon as the smoke is clear, the robotic army is defeated and Naruto is behind Kage. Kage sighs as he says it's my loss. Here he tosses the blueprints to Blaze and adds it's been fun. Blaze. Naruto raised his sword to strike down Kage. Kage then turns and takes it while facing Naruto and just smiles as Blaze says with eyes closed, well, it has been a wonderful yet crazy ride we had, Kage. Naruto strikes him down, thus ending him. Kage dies with a smile on his face. This makes the last of them fall to the ground in defeat as they couldn't believe that their loss as their plan was foolproof. Blaze says Kage never stuck to plans at all. Naruto says, were you two friends or something? He wraps the blood off. Yeah, he was, as we also worked together. Well, later Naruto. Blaze said. Then he teleports back to the heavens. Naruto wonders if he is going to be okay. Blaze is going to be fine and Naruto heads to the palace as he has the promise to keep. But then something starts to happen to the weather as it begins to rain. Then when everyone is gone, Enel vanishes and a note says he is breaking the gods and goddesses' law to not impressionate gods or goddesses. Then Blaze appears and gets Kage's body. Couple hours later. Naruto arrived at the bedroom and waiting for him on the bed is Aphrodite. She is laying sexily on the bed waiting for her husband as she says, hello big boy. Naruto smirks, hello my sexy goddess, it is time for our fun. Aphrodite nods as Naruto begins removing his clothes. Naruto begins to remember what he had to do to tame this goddess of sex for himself. Flashback. Naruto is looking at Aphrodite who challenged him, you know, if you can tame me, then I am yours to do with as you wish, but if I win you become my new boy toy. Naruto nods, I have plans of making you my wife. Aphrodite says, now, show me what you got. Naruto strips his clothes off and they hit the ground. Aphrodite is a bit surprised at how big he is even though he is young. Wow, you're really a big one, said Aphrodite, who removes her clothes letting her quadruple K cup breasts bounce free. She does not even wear a bra as they defy gravity. Naruto says very well. He walks over to her. Naruto then grabs her right breast and squeezes her breast, making her gasp in pleasure. Lemon happened. Aphrodite is in the bed with a fucked stupid look on her with a river of fum leaking out of her beep, ass, and mouth. Naruto lets out a sigh as he says, man, that felt great, but I'm still hard though. Then in comes Hibana, who is in a sexy silver nightie. She is wearing nothing under it and says, oh darling, I want another child. Naruto smirks as he says, well come here Hibana. Hibana sashays over to Naruto, then she kisses him on the lips and he kisses her back. The next day. Did you enjoy yourself? Samui asks as she and Hinata with Naruto as he is making their rounds. Naruto says indeed. Also, where is Arashi? As Arashi is Samui's son with Naruto as he was Naruto's third child. Samui says, oh, he's in the daycare. Naruto nods as many of his older kids who are around 5 or 6 are in a daycare that takes good care of the kids. Hell, Anya, Kana, and Eri are in it as well. Naruto says that's good to hear, and how's our little princess doing, Hinata? He turns to her and Hinata says little Hitomi is a curious little darling. She smiles as Naruto says that's good to hear. As they reach the first stop, which is the farm area. Naruto is looking over the farmers and then asks how are Cathal, Mill, and Erd. The girls are doing fine, though they do miss you as do the others, said the farmer, and Naruto nods, well, please send them up to the palace as I plan to have them there for dinner with us. You're not planning on eating them, are you? Said the farmer. Both Hinata and Samui couldn't hold their giggles as Naruto says maybe in another way, but no, they are not on the menu at all. They have a piece of my heart. The farmer, oh thank goodness. Naruto chuckles, I won't hurt them as they are my wonderful girls. Then here Naruto. Naruto turns and is tackled and chuckles as they are Cathal, Q cup, Mill, M cup, and Erd, Q cup. So Naruto is buried in their breasts as Hinata and Samui hi girls they are hugging Naruto more and Naruto says let me breathe please. They get off him and he gets up and brushes himself off as he says, I was so close to dying in the best way any man would die. For Cathal says not anytime soon as we don't want to piss off your mother. As she was sweating in fear. Naruto nods and says true, but mom would just bring my ass back as it would not be my time at all. All three nod as they understand. Samui says now then, are you three being good? They giggle and nod, good, cause tonight it's your three's turn, Samui said as she smirks. Hinata says, I believe my turn is this weekend with Samui. Naruto says true, but remember something might come up and you know what will happen. Hinata says it's fine, being emperor is not easy at all, she knows this very well. The farmer walks away as he has work to do, and the emperor and his group head back to the palace as Naruto says, I gotta keep that part of mine in control. Samui lays onto him as she says that would be hard since you do have insanely beautiful, big-breasted, and curvy wives. Naruto says bad Samui, don't make me punish you with daycare duty. I don't see that as a punishment because I get to spend the day with our little boy, she smiles. But then Naruto says oh no, you won't be with his class, you will be with the older class, and you know that little perv is there. Samui's once cheerful aura turns dark as she says you won't dare. Naruto smirked evilly and turned to Samui with a glint in his eyes, showing he would. Samui, I will be good. Naruto nods and turns away while they keep walking, then Naruto senses something and grabs something with his right hand. Which happens to be puppet strings. That is pathetic, I knew this will happen, your partner is not going to survive. He grabs a tighter hold on the strings and pulls. Out comes a man who looks like he is a hunched over man wearing a black coat with red clouds as he says how did you notice my strings, mister? Nine Tails. Naruto says war does that, it heightens the senses, also that is Emperor Nine Tails. If you want to be a pain in the ass, he turns to Samui and Hinata, get the farmers to safely, I will handle this. The girls do that and Naruto turns to the man and asks so what is your name if I am to put it on your grave marker? As his face turns very serious. Well if you must know, I'm Sasori, formerly of the Suna and a member of the Akatsuki. Sasori nods and Naruto smirks, let's see if you can beat the strongest of the West. Naruto then disappears and then reappears in front of Sasori, and given that Sasori is his puppet, he should be safe. But Naruto just flicks it and it breaks, shocking Sasori, and Naruto says now the puppeteer can come out and fight me himself. The body falls as the puppeteer has moved away from him and is still surprised. Naruto says surprised ain't you? As he summons a weapon, it was the Keeper of Harmony, which is massive with spikes and a small handle. Naruto smirks and takes a test swing which makes contact with Sasuke's body, and it hurts a lot. Sasori is sent flying even though his body is wood, it hurts. Naruto blinks as he says odd, I was hitting wood more than flesh and skin. He looks over and sees the side of Sasori as pieces of wood are falling and there's no side of blood. Sasori gets up and then brings out his favorite puppet as he says not many made me do this. He brings out the puppet of the third Kazekage, with Naruto thinking you're not human anymore, ain't you? Sasori says no I'm not, I will live forever. Naruto sighs as he brings out a scroll as he says what did he say again? Oh right, he opens it and places it on the ground. Naruto then unrolls it, then sends chakra through it, then a signal flare shoots out of it. This confuses Sasori and he asks what was that for? Then something comes down where the flare went and it was a machine. It looked like a machine combined with three machines and it is Cyberdark Dragon, GX again. Sasori widens his eyes as he says what on earth is that? Naruto says a machine and it is an upgrade to the puppet. If you could say that he places his hand on the leader of the group, this one is the leader and well the most ruthless. The dragon roars in a mechanical tone and Naruto thinks about the other two that will come with it, or is it 4 or 5? Well for now you're their new playtoy. He just waves his hand and soon enough. The dragon attacks and breaks the puppet with a swing of the tail and Naruto gathers them up. Sasori is scared and starts to flee with his partner doing the same as he is being chased by the 8 tails. Naruto says well luck with living. He walks heads back while there are screams of bloody murder. One then gets blasted and is killed that way by the dragon and Naruto is holding the puppet as he says I think this might be a body that turned into the wood, that guy is a sicko. Later into the day. Naruto got him ready for pickup as he hears my lord. Naruto turns to see one of the guards as he says a group from east, from Suna, has arrived to pick this up. Naruto nods, let them in. Naruto was able to restore him to how he was with human skin thanks to his abilities as he hears hello Emperor said a female voice. Naruto turns to see Temari. Yo Temari, said Naruto. Temari bowed with the other Suna ninjas. Which one is this anyway? Asked Naruto as he isn't sure which Kazekage this is, he would be the third, Naruto. Naruto nods, yeah I have not learned a lot about Suna. He smiles, Temari smiles as she says makes sense, now can we take him home? Naruto has the coffin brought over to them, it will be loaded onto the airship that will take you home. Temari says thank you, she bows, Naruto nods and then walks away as they take the coffin. And once they're gone, Naruto hears she's Kindo looker. Naruto says Yuruchi does the kid need to be punished? If you can catch me first. A cat with black fur lands on Naruto's shoulder, but then she is grabbed by the scruff by Naruto and says remember I have gotten a lot faster. So how are our little kittens Yami and Jasmine? Itachi says oh they're growling up so fast, they're already able to outrun the guard. She lets out a tear of pride, I couldn't be more proud. Naruto chuckles and says yeah Yami will be a strong warrior in the future. I still have those pictures of my wives when they are pregnant with their children in their baby books. Then he looks at her, now then why did you bring up Temari? Itachi smirks in a cat-like way as she says well I couldn't help but notice how she looks at you. Naruto says naughty kitty you are, but right now I can't take more wives, as peace is on the edge of a knife, with the idiots ganging up together. Then the whole earth shakes and Naruto says great who the fuck woke up Gaia. Anada appeared yeah, it seems somehow, that fucker Sasuke got out Naruto's side, then teleports to where he is after putting Itachi down on the ground. Later where Gaia is. Gaia is looking at the idiot who woke her up as she says tell me why you have woken me up, foolish boy. Sasuke looks still beaten from his fight with Naruto as he says I'm here, so that you Gaia, a powerful being right Gaia yes, I am. Then Sasuke said something really dumb as he doesn't know this I want you to have my children. Gaia just laughs then someone appears and says hello sister how are you? What did this fool ask of you? It was Naruto. The giant woman says this fool asks me to have his children, but I guess he failed to realize that he can't as he doesn't have balls. She laughs even more. Naruto smirks and says well there is one other thing he should not have done is waking you up, dear sister. Hell, imagine if he demanded mom to bear his children. Oh, she would erase him. Oh I just thought to throw into the lava that I rest on and watch him burn. Naruto laughs at this as it is so fucking funny. Sasuke shouts what's so fucking funny? Oh that you are on the end of the road that is your life Sasuke, said Naruto. Sasuke starts to growl and launches at Naruto, but he is grabbed by the massive hands of Gaia as she says hands off of my little brother. Sasuke then asks what the fuck little brother? Naruto then says well half brother, but we don't give a fuck she is my sister daughter of chaos, and I am the youngest son of the primordial chaos. Sasuke isn't listening as he is trying to get free. Gaia asks, can I throw him now? Naruto says sure. Sasuke widens his eyes as he hears that and Gaia smiles. Gaia then moves and shows the lava that's under her. Sasuke says no wait, you can't do this. Naruto just waves as he says bye Sasuke, let's meet again in the next life. Gaia says no, you won't. And she throws him into the lava. Naruto says what do you mean? Don't all souls go into the cycle of things? Some do and some don't. He is going to our brother Tartarus and is going to be punished as he tried to kill our little brother. Mom's orders. Said Gaia. Naruto says very well and also why are you staring at me like that? Gaia says well I can't help it, you are very handsome after all. Naruto says sis remember I have many wives and I am a busy man. But maybe you will get your shot with me. Gaia says personally, I think I have a better shot with one of your sons in fact when they're 18 or older. I mean Naruto shrugs though I know mom has her eyes on me. Gaia says oh I know, she talks about you lot and how she can't wait to get you in and. Naruto says tell me another time as I have an empire to run. Gaia and please, no spoilers. Gaia nods also expect a visit from Nick soon. She goes back to her sleep. Naruto sighs as he says I swear mother's side is something else. He heads back. Later into the night, in the underground lab, the subset that hands the biology part, Naruto is overlooking the process of bringing the Uchiha clan back from extinction, as the second to last one has died. How's it going, Orochimaru? Asked Naruto. Well with the samples, we can bring about 100 of them, and if you wish, I can speed up their growth and have them be fully grown up within the week. Orochimaru answers. Naruto thinks about it. Naruto then says I think they should be allowed to grow with their lives as they have more samples, and if we have to, we can make them grow fast with all the knowledge. So let's let them have their own family and childhood as we have people lining up to adopt. Well given the history Uchiha have, they're not the most balanced people, always on edge and quick to anger if something doesn't go right with them, so I believe it will be best that they have grown into a loving family. Naruto nods. Well there was 1 or 2 Uchiha I can name who did not get mad if things did not go their way. Boo. Orochimaru asks. Naruto then looks around and activates a silencing seal and says Mikoto Uchiha and Itachi, or as I know her Itomi Uchiha. Orochimaru looks at him for that, I see said the pale skinned man. How I know I was young and I accidentally walked in on her changing and well she made me promise not to tell, as long as her brother and father were alive, as they would have forced her to have her brother's child, said Naruto blushing as he remembers that day. Orochimaru looks at him. I see, now then, should we proceed? Said Orochimaru as he looks at the emperor for his say-so. Naruto says begin, but I want the first 2 be under my care. Orochimaru nods and says understood. He says do you wish me to add anything specific? Naruto says see if you can get rid of the gene that has you steal eyes to get to the final stage, or find a way to seal it off until a special condition is met. Orochimaru types it in as he asks, and what's the condition? Naruto says it must be a traumatic event so traumatic that you will have some nightmares. Orochimaru watching your family or friend being killed in front of you and not being able to do anything about it. Naruto nods yes, but that is not very likely. I am not saying it is impossible, but it is not likely. Orochimaru nods personal. I thought you would like them to have the purest form of their bloodline after all, it is from years of mix and match genes. Naruto says I would like that really, but I also need to add some blocks that they must overcome as well. He crosses his arms as Orochimaru very well, I will do that and add in condition. Naruto nods good as inbreeding is a bad idea. Orochimaru says so you want me to purify all of them then? Naruto nods to that and with that, he heads to his bedroom. Naruto sighs and enters his bedroom. A few days later. Naruto is standing as the guests are all loading up into the airships that brought them here. Naruto says well, I have faced my past and moved on. As he is talking to Yor nods I agree, and that is good Naruto. Sigh, how do you think the elders of Konoha will take it? Naruto says don't care. He deadpans as he waves his hand, Yor giggles as she says fair enough. Naruto watches as they all load up and sighs, I hope the Red Dawn does not do something stupid besides the ones that already had attacked you. Asks Yor, Naruto well for that case, more stupid than. Naruto then sees Tsunade who looks at him and then walks into the airship and then they start to take off. Naruto is watching them leave and sighs. Naruto feels something is coming. Naruto thinks here we go. Naruto is ready for whatever comes in the future. The end. So how was this part? I hope you like it. And if you like it share this part with your friends and like the video too. And don't forget to subscribe our channel for daily awesome fanfiction. Okay it's time for me to go. Bye bye.